we've got a treat for you now, because for the next hour, we have a man who used to do this.
And it's cleared, but only as far as Joe Cole. Hits it up into the air, goes for the spectacular, and it's in. What an unbelievable goal from Joe Cole. 35 yards out, on an angle. He's hit it up. The goalkeeper, well, he saw it coming, but there was nothing he could do about that whatsoever.
Here's Joe Cole. Brilliant. Chelsea start the party now.
Listen to this for a standing ovation for Joe Cole.
Shown by the challenge there, and by Joe Cole's finish here. And goodness me, they're in front again. And Joe Cole is the man again.
Yeah, brilliant, especially if you're a West Ham or a Chelsea fan, because Joe Cole is with us for the next hour or so. Morning, Joe.
Morning, Joe. How are you, pal?
I'm very well, Ali. I would love to have seen you here, mate, but you're up the road, right?
I'm up the road, mate. I'm coming down tonight. I'm hosting tomorrow. I was just going to say, I'm going to let the cat out the bag, mate. The last time I saw you on Friday night, you were knee deep into a goat curry, mate. What about that curry?
Ow, that was good, mate. I'm telling you. We nearly had to delay the show for this goat curry. It was unbelievable.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, that was at Luton, was it?
Yeah. If anyone goes down to Luton, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a Jamaican Jamaican food. Was it a little hole in the wall, wasn't it? It was beautiful.
That's exactly what it was, mate.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it was beautiful.
What it was.
Brilliant. Hey, look, I've got your book here, Joe. Luxury Player. I look a luxury player. I think that's almost flattering, because I think of, yourself, Glenn Hoddle, Matt Letizia, John Barnes, the players that I loved during my lifetime. But, I mean, did you regard yourself as a luxury player?
Do you know what? Sam Wallace, who wrote the book with me, he had the idea of it, because through the theme of the book, it was sort of like me, going through what it was like becoming a footballer, and then how you're labelled as a footballer. And, you were labelled with that. And like you said, Jeff, sometimes it can be, you prefer to be a luxury player rather than a ham and egger type thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but also it was a label that was used against me as well as with me. And it goes through that with a book, how I how I perceive my career. And luxury player I just thought, it sounded quite good. It leaves a little bit to the imagination.
Yeah. Well, here's a quick question for you, Joe, regarding luxury player. Did any of your coaches or managers look on you as a luxury player?
Yeah, well, I think I was unusual, Ali, as a footballer. And we talk about that because my dad wasn't a football person, so I didn't play for a team until I was nearly 12 out. And you think in the current climate, like my two boys have been playing competitive football since they were 6. So I was sort of like a street footballer, and then you come into it late. So I was very different to what was around at the time. And Harry was very good with me coming through. Harry was like, he recognised that I could do things that other players couldn't do, and he very early put me into the team, and and give me that freedom. So it was used when I didn't play well. It was used as as something to hit me with, and then when it was all going well, everyone loves a luxury player, don't they? Because you're exciting the crowd and everything. So it was used both ways, I thought.
Yeah. Did you get it in both ways from Jose Mourinho?
Oh God, yeah. Jose, I mean, listen, like fondly talk about Jose in the book, because a lot of my relationship with him, because he was so outspoken. But we always had I always felt we had a very honest relationship. Like, and I was okay with the back and forth and a few arguments here and there. And ultimately, I learned so much under him. Like, I thought he was like a revolutionary in football and how we trained. It was chalk and cheese from what I was used to before that to when you met him, and that's why he's like one of the top managers. But he was spiky with me, and he did push me, and there was incidents in the media and that, and a lot of people talk to me about it now. But when I look back, it was what I needed as a player. He always felt he needed to keep me under reins. I remember scoring a winning goal against Liverpool. And thinking, bee's knees, I was, straight out that night, scored the big game, winning goal. And before the days of social media, until you woke up the next day and read the headlines, and he was giving me, I don't know, I forgot to track a runner, Ali, at 75 minutes, and he just was like, he said, Joe Cole has two faces, a beautiful face and an ugly face. I said, I do, yeah. And it was like headlines, and I think it was his way
Yeah.
Because he recognised in me. Concentration was always a problem with me. I always felt, football-wise, I had a lot of good things I could do and a lot of things I couldn't do. A concentration as a footballer is so vital. And he wanted me switched on for the way we played as well, defensively. And I learned so much from him. And I hope that comes across in the book, because we had ups and downs, but ultimately, I really appreciate everything done for my career.
It's amazing that, Joe, Jeff, because I can relate to that. Like, you've no idea, Joe, because I was the same with Graham Souness, and Graham would leave me out of the team, and, I would be throwing toys out the pram. And then it's only when you kind of stop and look back and you realise not only was it for the benefit of the team, which is obviously the most important thing, but it didn't have benefit me as well. And it's an understanding. And the point I would ask you is, from a player's point of view, and you seem to have that relationship with Mourinho, how important is it as a player that you have a relationship with a manager who's completely open and upfront with you?
Honesty and being open, I think, is just fundamental for the. I have ambitions one day of managing. I don't know when that will be, and I've got my coaching badges and whatnot. But one thing I would say, all of the best managers I've worked with in my book, they have different ways of doing it, different ways of playing, but honesty and openness was and then sometimes that can be brutal. And in the current climate as well, I think everyone worries about upsetting players and where the power lies within a football club. But you have to be open. If you're going to, if you're trying to make a team do something incredible, whatever level you're at, it's competitive, and if you're not open and honest and you're not truthful, you'll get found out. Players will find you out.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I always, like you said, some of it was harsh. We all were like to be patted on the back and told how good we are all the time. But if you're not doing something, I would much prefer to know from a manager so I can change it. So he's always been open and honest. And I think sort of like Jose's never changed that. Just the times around him have changed, and maybe players don't. Maybe they want that. They want that.
See, that was going to be my next question, you mate. That was my next question to you. I mean, the managers and coaches that I work with now would struggle in that department. Brilliant managers and brilliant coaches, because how different is the dressing room, and how different is the mentality in the dressing room to accept that?
Do you know the first time I realised that? Because I just retired, I'd come back from America, and I was coaching at Chelsea. I finished off my badges. I was coaching with the youth team. And what I realised about, we played a game, it was like, and when you just retired, Ali, you get involved, you play like 5-a-side, 6-a-side, 7-a-sides, and there wasn't as much talking on the pitch as I remember with these young players, just play, 17, 18-year-olds, and I think there's something to do with that, like it's a communication thing from the young generation, I think they've been brought up on phones, and I was like, what? I was the most excited to train at 37, and I'm like, why are they not buzzing to do a 5-a-side, and because they've been little professionals for so long, and the communication thing. So I think that plays into it, the communication.